when things are not going quite well with the boss and his workers, how can we proceed and advance to a place which is more positive?
He has to be on it too. He has to participate. He's part of the department, or the factory, or the organization. He has to be with them. He has to participate on all activities. He also has to be equal with everyone. He's not someone's boss, meaning in terms of when I come now to your organization to help you rearrange your relations, then I don't treat him as a manager and the cleaning lady as a cleaning lady. I treat everyone equally because the atmosphere in the organization, it depends on everyone. Maybe, nonetheless, there is kind of a differentiation between this and those, but I accept everyone equally, truly. Otherwise, we'll never create good, nice relations in the organization. A good, nice relation could be like in a family. That's our natural example, which comes to us from nature, and all the rest of the states are artificial ones, and therefore we have to take an example from a family as to what's going on there. A father is a father, a mother is a mother, children are children, and also the grandma, the grandpa, the who and whatever. Everyone has their own place, and nonetheless everyone's equal. Equal in their reciprocal relations and love, attention, mutual concern and care. If we're talking about good, nice, normative family, where there's place for everyone, whoever he is, and no one feels that someone is taking his place and rejecting him, and besides the smaller children that are there, in the meantime, are scrutinizing who's more and who's less. In a working place, when we come to a working place, first of all, we talk. When we come to a working place, first of all, we talk. We don't talk about their fights. Fights, they know enough about it as is. When they'll start telling me about it, I'll just awoke it in them even more. We're talking about the human nature. It's clear to everyone that man's nature is egoistic, that everyone wants to um, make himself greater, to build himself on the ruins, on account of the other, that we measure ourselves only with respect to others. Were I in some society of cowboys or I don't know, farmers or slaves, doesn't matter. I always examine myself with respect to my environment, to my greater, smaller, and so on. It's always relative. Therefore, we have to talk about our society. Besides, it's clear to us that if we are all the time struggling, we have struggles between us, and it's natural because man's inclination is evil to begin with. So that's our nature. We're all the time in stress, therefore, constantly having fights. Everyone is kind of, on the watch. Where will the sting come from? And therefore, this way, we don't enjoy our working place, but our ego might enjoy it in terms of what I did to him and to her, and I raise myself in my pride that I'm above others. I'm condescending, but that's not the example we talked about. That's like the example we should take is the one of a family, an example for a good life. If we come, wherever we go, we feel like in a family, that we complete each other, we calm each other down, we help each other. There is no better life, meaning that our ego is our enemy. It doesn't allow us to live in a good, nice way. And then in our working place, we need to use it as little as possible for our own favor. All the problems, all the illnesses, everything which we have all the nerves which we carry out into the street, where we drive out around in our cars, that we take with us home. It drags on and on and on. We can give them examples from the World Health Organization, how how being nervous about things, angry, shortens our life. Better not. You can bring numbers and you can bring researches that better not be stressed. How it personally affects me, affects my health, affects the atmosphere in the family, affects the children, and so on and so forth. And so it follows that a working place where I am at for 10 hours a day and 2 more hours that I'm on my way there and on my way back, an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening, 12 hours when I come home after these 12 hours of pressure, of a bad atmosphere where everyone's really, fist fighting, then I keep it on going at my children and my wife, and turns so out that I prepare my friend and my children for life the very same way, and all that comes from my working place. And how I sleep, I don't rest when I sleep, I'm all the time. First of all, recognition of evil. In short, first stage, recognition of evil in our situation here. Now, this is one thing. The general situation, the recognition of evil. Next phase, the relation of each person toward the evil which pops up, meaning that each one thinks that the other's wrong and he has to change for the better. What each thinks about the other. I think that you have to be softer, and you less pressuring, and he should shut up altogether, and so on and so forth. I have what to say about each and every one in order for him to become more whole and perfect in my eyes, and so each about all the others. This way, we can't turn to this. It's called world reformers. We can't correct our department this way. Forget about it. It's the wrong attitude, meaning all the complaints of each towards the others, towards someone's character, behavior of the others. It is a wrong way. It can never realize. A manager can lay someone off or really push him hard for some time, but eventually it will come back as a boomerang. Eventually, that person who's stressed, he won't do the work from the bottom of his heart. Somehow, this is how it turns. And there's in special conditions, behind his back, doesn't matter. So we have to understand that A, when we're in a state that we have to make it a good, nice, and balanced state because it influences our whole life. And we have to understand that in order to make this good atmosphere, these conditions, we can't do what the others want me to do, because each person wants for all the others to bend themselves toward him, before him. So these things can't work, meaning our entire egoistic observation at society and at all the others, but the correction of society, the society that I like, it's an incorrect perspective. It just brings me to frustration and edginess and ruins everything.
How can you teach us to change our attitude?
I don't know. That's, first of all, the general recognition of evil in society in general, how it influences my family and kids and everything, and the recognition of evil of the way I look at others, that I can't change them, I can't do anything about that. Because I'll tell you, were we to have in this society some higher ideal, that toward this I want to grow, I want to grow in this direction, I'm ready to nullify myself toward it, then I would use these cases, but it doesn't happen. It's not a religion, it's not a king, it's nothing. That then you give everything up. And we give ourselves up. There's no such thing. We are in a democratic society. Therefore, a general and particular recognition of evil.
How do we know about this evil? Because you taught us or told us about this?
I give them examples, numbers.
Some kind of lecture.
Right, frontal lecture, how much we lose as a result of being in these kinds of relations at work. How we will never be able to win, to bring ourselves to a more or less better environment, society, if we'll try to change each one according to the desires of the other. So I don't just tell them about it, but we have workshops about each and one of these details, that they do it between them, that they themselves now talk about how it will not help that we demand each other to change for years. It won't help. It's man's nature. The main thing for me is to take it out from the framework of something personal, that something's wrong with him, that he's wrong. No, that's nature. This is how people are. Just like I'm like this, and like that, and my characteristics, this is how I am with my anger, this is how I am with my family and my relations to others. It all comes from nature. No point in complaining about anyone. That is a given. This is our nature, this is how we all are. Bad, despicable, really ugly. We're not children. We understand life. We agree about it. We understand our character and how. With all these things, do we go and try to live together? Because nonetheless, it's the place of work. We're here for 10 hours. It influences my whole life. So it's good that instead of each one taking some pill at home, then it's preferable to take it there together, kind of, instead of taking a tranquilizer myself. Do this together, and it depends on the situation in which the department is. Each time, workshops. Each time you have to write down several questions that they have to discuss, again, in a least as possible personal way, but more from nature, kind of foggy-like, blurry. It's like if a person, he looks at me, he doesn't look at me personally, he looks at my body. For him, I'm a piece of flesh that you have to balance different givens there. The pressures, the sugar, the this, the that, other substances. This is how he looks at me. This is how we look at our society. We look at ourselves that way too.